Hello and welcome to FIA Pure Motorsport. On this week's episode, we have a closer look at the first two rallies of the FIA Rally Star drivers. We'll show you some great truck racing from the Czech Republic, and we'll have the best action from the NitrOlympX at the Hockenheimring, and much, much more from the FIA World of Motorsport. The Rally Vinho Madeira, also known as the Madeira Wine Rally, is the 10th stop of the European Rally Trophy season. And it's something special. The rally takes place on the stunning and picturesque island of Madeira, which lies in the Atlantic Ocean about 1,000 kilometers from mainland Europe, only 500 kilometers from the west coast of the African continent, and about 450 kilometers north of the Canary Islands. Breathtaking scenery surrounds the rally stages. And for the almost 260,000 inhabitants, the rally is one of the major events of the year on the island. Residents come out to support the event, and the rally stages often pass through villages and towns, creating a festive atmosphere. This year, a total of 85 teams are taking part in the rally. On the first day, there is only one special stage over 2.18 kilometers in the center of Funchal. The most spectacular section is the now famous roundabout in the capital of Madeira. Tens of thousands of spectators watch Briton Chris Meek complete the course in 1:34.8 and take the first lead of the rally. Simona Campadelli and Armindo Arroyo take second and third places respectively after day one. All three teams did not appear in the leading group after that. Chris Meek had to bury his hopes for a good placing after a crash at the beginning of day two, which consists of 6 stages with a total length of 87.32 kilometers and sees the first 7 teams within 1 minute of each other. The third best time was achieved by the Portuguese team José Pedro Fontes and Inés Ponte. In their Citroën C3 Rally 2, they are only 23.7 seconds behind first place. 16 seconds ahead of them are the Italians Giandomenico Basso and Lorenzo Granai. In their Skoda Fabia Rally 2 Evo, they are in great form and are only 7.6 seconds behind the leaders. The leaders are old hands. Driver Alvandre Camacho comes from the island and has already won the rally 5 times. With his co-driver Pedro Calado, he's in a familiar position after the second day. On the third and last day, another 7 stages and 86 kilometers await the teams. José Pedro Fontes and Inés Ponte try everything but cannot intervene in the duel for victory. In the end, they achieve a good result and finish the Rally Vinho Madeira on the third step of the podium. Giandomenico Basso and Lorenzo Granai are the only team that can keep up with the pace of the leaders. They win the 9th and 13th special stage and keep the gap to Alexandre Camacho between 9 and 13 seconds, ready to take the lead if the Madeiran driver makes a mistake. But this mistake does not come. Alexandre Camacho drives a dominant race. In his Skoda Fabia Rally 2 Evo, he keeps the gap on the first special stages and then extends his lead in the last 3 special stages. In the end, Alexandre Camacho and co-driver Pedro Calado win by 20.6 seconds ahead of the Italians Giandomenico Basso and Lorenzo Granai. Alexandre Camacho becomes the first driver to win the Rally Vinho Madeira for the 6th time. Despite his success, the Madeiran has nothing to do with the overall lead. After 10 events, the Czech René Donal is in the lead, Edgar Vigo Lopez is in second, and Jan Kopecky is in third. The FIA Rally Star goes into the next round. The 6 drivers that were selected during the Continental Finals have been working hard to get one step closer to their goal to sit in the cockpit of a rally car at the FIA Junior WRC Championship in 2024. Together, they've completed the 10-day training camp in Sardinia, which equipped the participants with expertise and knowledge required ahead of the 6-event schedule of national and regional level rallies.
We had some training on basic things like the regulations, the way the car is operating, but also how to do proper recce, how to build a recce plan, and of course testing with the cars on gravel and tarmac.
Time for the FIA Rally Star drivers to put theory into practice when they contest the San Marino Rally, and it starts with a recce. Rally recce is a process where drivers and co-drivers inspect the rally stages before the race, familiarizing themselves with the route, terrain, and potential hazards to optimize their performance during the event. Also on board, Nicholas Klinger.
I prepared the rally with the co-driver and the driver before the rally. We work on the recce schedule, on the week schedule, on all the timing, as well during the rally on the recce itself.
The San Marino Rally gravel stages vary from technical to fast-paced in quick succession and have similarities to some of the high-speed tests that appear on the FIA Junior WRC calendar. An exciting moment for Jose Abito Caparro and Max Smart, who are competing in their first rally. The clear objective was to complete as many kilometers as possible, and that's exactly what 3 of the 6 teams did. Max Smart made it to 33rd place. Jose Abito Caparro even managed a 20th place finish in his first rally. The big surprise was Taylor Gill. The Australian took 10th place in his first rally in Europe and won the Rally 3 category.
It's incredible, to be honest. I mean, I've never been able to drive a factory-built and factory-team-run car. So it's a really cool opportunity, and it's awesome to be able to go out on the stages and know that the car's not gonna break. You know, most of the time, it's so well looked after and well maintained. It's really confidence-inspiring.
Although Al-Taki, Silonitz, and Jurgensen were not able to reach the finish line, the things that they learned are being pulled together for the post-event debrief.
In San Marino, the performance was not the primary thing we were looking for. We were looking for consistency, being able to finish stages and finish the rally.
The next stop for the 6 drivers was Rally Weiz in Austria. The second event of the FIA Rally Star training session is one of the 4 asphalt-based events, a big difference to the San Marino Rally, and it was also selected for this reason.
What we want to learn here is the tarmac driving, which is so different from gravel. We know that we want to prepare them for the Junior WRC. In Junior WRC, you have 1 event on snow, 3 on gravel, and 1 on tarmac. They need to learn the lines, the cuts, how to manage the corners you cut, not to be trapped by the mud or the gravel that could be on the road if you are off the line. So that's the main focus during the weekend.
The rally's undulating roads and numerous grip and rhythm changes provided an excellent opportunity for the FIA Rally Star training season recruits to continue the ongoing task of building their experience and taking on new skills in their identical Ford Fiesta Rally 3s prepared by M Sport Poland. Abdullah Al-Taki completed the challenging route as one of 4 drivers. The Oman driver took every opportunity to adapt to the rigors of rallying on asphalt, something he'd never done previously. The other 3 drivers had an exciting duel. They finished 1st, 2nd, and 3rd respectively in the Rally 3-based RC3 category, 16.3 seconds apart after 13 challenging stages and 145 kilometers. Australian Taylor Gill had another superb outing, finishing 3rd in Category 3 and 10th overall.
The roads in Austria were quite a challenge, very slippery in spots. So it's a really good experience for us to learn. And like I said, my first tarmac rally as well. So it was a lot to take in, but I think we handled it pretty well.
Peruvian Jose Abito Caparro, who qualified for the FIA Rally Star training season by winning the American final in May, demonstrated his speed and potential by making full use of his experience racing karts to go fastest of the Rally 3 contenders on stages 1 and 3. In the end, he was 3 seconds faster than Taylor Gill and only 13 seconds slower than Romet Jurgensen. The winner of the European final moved into a lead he wouldn't relinquish on Saturday's second stage, and the Estonian would go on to complete the event with a tally of 5 stage wins. He wins Category 3 and finishes in a great 8th place overall.
Basically everything went to plan. The plan was to get to the end with comfortable speed, not push too much, and I think we managed that. We had basically no moments during the weekend, and just have to be happy that the second event of the Rally Star program went to plan.
2 events successfully completed, 4 events still ahead of us. After the summer break, the Rally Nova Gorica, an asphalt event in Slovenia, is coming up.
Another tricky tarmac event, probably similar to the WRC roads in Croatia. So that'll be, again, another big learning experience for us. But yeah, we can't wait to get into it.
After the summer break, the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship is back underway with the 5th round of the season at the Autodrom Most. Norbert Kish leads the title hunt with a 54-point gap over his rivals, meaning he's going to need some bad luck, and his competitors are going to have to finish the season very strong if they hope to deny the Hungarian his 3rd title on the bounce. Behind him, however, the battle for 2nd to 4th is incredibly tight, with just 24 points separating Jochen Hahn, Sascha Lenz, and Antonio Albacete, respectively. In the first of 4 races this weekend, Kish dominates with a lights-to-flag victory. Antonio Albacete takes 2nd place, just ahead of Jochen Hahn. In the 2nd race, it looks like a normal start until Andrei Kurzim makes an opportunistic move trying to get between Mark Taylor and Stefan Faas. Not being able to make it 3 wide on the track, Kurzim catches the rear of Faas, pushing the German into Taylor's truck beside him. Taylor loses control, spinning to face the racing traffic and hitting the wall of pit lane. On the 2nd restart, Halm appears to get a poor start, dropping to midway down the order before the 1st corner. But an incident between father and son, Lucas and Jochen Hahn, that sees the number 2 truck of Jochen spun out and both go off into the gravel. That helps Halm regain the places that she lost, and she is back to 2nd by turn 3. The field is led by Adam Lachko, who is only racing the Most weekend in front of his home fans for this season. Starting from the reversed grid, Norbert Kish is in the middle of the field and tries to make up places in typical Kish style, but at first he can't get past the experienced Antonio Albacete. Jamie Anderson attacks Steffi Halm and tries to pass inside, but Steffi Halm closes the door in time. Lachko, Halm, Anderson, and Kish now already in 4th place, but without a chance to attack the trio in front of him in the laps still to be driven. The fans in Most are thrilled. Adam Lachko in only his 2nd race of the season with the lights-to-flag victory. Steffi Halm holds on for 2nd place, and Jamie Anderson finishes in 3rd. Sunday starts with heavy rain, even too much water on the track for expert Norbert Kish. The drivers are very cautious. Norbert Kish again with a lights-to-flag victory in race 3. The Hungarian is more than 11 seconds ahead of Lachko. Jochen Hahn is in 3rd place, 29 seconds behind. Race 4 starts under wet race procedure with the opening lap under yellow flags, so race control can survey the safety of the track. Steffi Halm has the advantage, having led the first lap, and sprints into the distance after being released to full racing speed. Norbert Kish is again starting behind in the reverse grid, but without any problems he overtakes Jochen Hahn. Then he takes advantage of the duel between Albacete and Sascha Lenz to set himself past both trucks. Behind the Hungarian, the battle continues. Sascha Lenz manages to stay in front of the Spaniard. Meanwhile, Norbert Kish sets his sights on Andrei Kurzim. In his yellow truck, Kurzim is able to resist for a long time, but then has to let Kish pass. After 2 more laps, he also catches up with Steffi Halm. The rain has now become really heavy again. Halm fights back but has no chance against Kish in these weather conditions. Perfect timing for Kish because the rain is getting heavier and the race is put under full course yellow for safety reasons before turning to a red flag after 9 laps and 75% of the race distance being completed. The 3rd win in the 4th race for Kish, but also a great weekend for Steffi Halm. The duo was joined on the podium by Sascha Lenz. Norbert Kish continues to dominate this season. With 2 third places in Most, Sascha Lenz is able to reduce the lead on his compatriot to 14 points. Diego Martinez Gonzalez celebrates his first victory at the 3rd round of the Cross Car Academy on the great track in Prerov. In a close final, he finishes ahead of the Belgian Jordan Gentin and the overall leader Emilien Allard. With this success, the Spaniard passes Gentin to take 2nd place in the overall standings. In the cross-car category, David Miat celebrates his second win of the season, extending his lead in the overall standings. The Frenchman relegated the two Czechs, Lukas Svoboda and Peter Dolzal, into second and third places, respectively. Arnost Florian remains the outstanding driver in the junior buggies. The Czech dominated the competition at his home race and celebrated his 5th victory this year. He thus extends his lead in the overall standings over Malone Foyade and Nathan Ottink, who finished second and third in Prerolf. In the buggy 1600 category, German driver Stefan Laubach took his first win of the season. Markus Wibbeler made the German double victory perfect. With his second place, Wibbeler reduced the gap in the overall standings to Jakob Novotny to 10 points. Surprisingly, the Czech only finished 4th in Prerolf. With a commanding performance, European champion Peter Nicodem secured a victory in the Super Buggies in front of his home crowd. He won by more than 5 seconds ahead of his compatriot Vit Noselek. His biggest rival for the title, Vincent Mercier, finished in 3rd. Top Fuel drag racing is famous for extraordinary displays of speed. 0 to 100 in a half a second, a quarter mile in less than 4 seconds, and top speeds in excess of 500 kilometers per hour. For most racing fans, there's no better sight than watching two 10,000 horsepower land missiles blast down a track with victory and defeat separated by only a few hundredths of a second. But the race against the clock doesn't just take place on the track. The Top Fuel engine starts tearing itself apart as soon as the driver releases the clutch. Pistons, rods, bearings, the crank, you name it. Many of these parts are capable of surviving more than a single run, but no team is willing to press its luck by making even a second run without checking everything first. After every pass, a Top Fuel engine is completely torn down and rebuilt in an amount of time that most engine builders find is barely enough to gap rings. During a rebuild, all major components are removed and either inspected or automatically replaced to be rebuilt later. The only major pieces that remain in the block are the crank, although the main caps come off so that the bearings can be inspected, and the camshaft. Everything else, from the blower to the oil pan and even the clutch, is removed. The crew spends as much time as possible inspecting parts as they come off or go onto the car, looking for potential problems as they do actually turning the wrenches. After all, any mistake during reassembly can lead to an engine failure, and a 10,000 horsepower race motor never fails in a small way. To the uninitiated, an engine rebuild in a Top Fuel pit appears to be pure mayhem, but there really is a science behind everything. Typically, a crew consists of 7 to 9 members and each has a specific responsibility. The team has a clutch specialist, 2 men working on the bottom end of the motor, 2 men on the cylinder heads and the valve train, 1 whose responsibility is the blower, and a helper or 2 to clean parts and do the legwork. To save time, some major components are replaced as a chunk. The cylinder head, complete with headers, springs, valves, and everything except the rocker arm assembly, comes out in one piece and is replaced by an assembly that's been built ahead of time. This head will be rebuilt during the downtime between rounds and put back into service. Reassembly takes about twice as long as teardown. Although many of the components can be reused, they won't be until after the crew has had a chance to thoroughly inspect each piece. Each new round's assemblies, including complete cylinder heads, pistons, and rods, and clutch packs, are already prepared and ready to go well in advance. Finally, the engine is started and checked for signs of trouble before heading back to the track. This is done after every run on a race weekend. A truly masterful performance by Top Fuel mechanic teams. The NitrOlympX at the Rico Antes quarter mile of the Hockenheimring in Germany is the 4th round of the 2023 FIA European Drag Racing Championship. With the unique atmosphere of the Motordrome and the night show, the NitrOlympX always brings something special to the most prestigious drag racing championship in Europe. The almost 43,000 spectators who filled the stands along the 402.33 meter long track at the weekend were treated to fireworks displays of top-class sport and entertainment. FIA Pro Stock Car is the fine mechanics department of drag racing. Classic tuning only. No nitro, no nitrous, no turbo or blower. These racing vehicles based on a lattice tube frame have up to 1,600 horsepower. With championship leader Jimmy Allund not at Hockenheim, it's a great chance for the other drivers to make up points. First and foremost, Stefan Ehrenried, who will meet Michael Malmgren. And the second best qualifier pulls a red light. He misses a good chance to pass Åhlund, a gift victory for Malmgren. In the second semi-final, it's Robin Noren, the number 5 in the championship, against the number 3, Simon Ekengren. Noren in the red and white Pontiac GXP. Ekengren with the better reaction time, but Noren with the better speed of 331 kilometers per hour, needing just 6.7 seconds for the quarter mile. In the final, Michael Malmgren on the left against Robin Noren on the right. Malmgren has difficulties off the start but gains control of the car. Meanwhile, Noren loses control, hits the wall. Noren is unhurt, but the car is badly damaged, while the victory goes to Malmgren. 3 drivers passed Jimmy Åhlund in the overall standings. Before the last event at the UK's Santopod Raceway, Stefan Ernid is ahead of Michael Malmgren and Robin Noren. An exciting season finale is guaranteed. The top methanol cars are equipped with a one-piece, extremely light carbon fiber body. The minimum weight is 1,000 kilograms. These methanol engines sitting in front of the driver produces 3,800 horsepower and times of 5.5 seconds at top speeds of over 410 kilometers per hour. In the first semi-final, Sandro Bellio, who defeated Jürgen Nagel in the first round, has a bye. In the second semi-final, it's Johnny Oxa against Lynn Flusvik, who is the number 2 in the championship. A close race, but Johnny Oxa with a top speed of 415 kilometers per hour and the win. In the end, 26 hundredths of a second make the difference between victory and defeat. In the final, it's Bellio against Oxa. After recording a string of 5.5 runs, Sandro Bellio is the favorite. But the Belgium driver pulls a red light, handing the win to Oxa, who records a 5.58 run. Because of this, the reigning champion misses a good chance to get a good deal closer to the 3rd title in a row. By reaching the semi-finals, Lynn Flusvik passes Silvio Strauch for first place in the overall standings. The German still has every chance of winning the title, as does Sandro Bellio in 3rd place. 12 liters of displacement with additional nitrous oxide injection or compressors bring the engines of the FIA Pro modified cars up to 3,000 horsepower. This allows them to cover the quarter mile in under 6 seconds, with top speeds of well over 380 kilometers an hour being measured. A highlight for all US car fans because the starting field includes classics such as the Chevy Bel Air, Studebaker, and Camaro. 15 cars at the start in Hockenheim. In the end, 3 are left because Mats Eriksson has mechanical problems in the first semi-final. Roger Johansson has a bye to advance to the final. In the second semi-final, defending champion Jan Eriksson meets second-best qualifier David Vector. An extremely close race, incredible reaction time at the start from Eriksson. The Swede with a top speed of 398 kilometers per hour is just 56 hundredths of a second faster than Vector. The final of the FIA Pro Modified cars, Jan Eriksson, who is unbeaten so far this season against his compatriot Roger Johansson. The race is quickly decided. Johansson has traction problems while Eriksson storms to another great 5.85 second run to claim the win. Jan Eriksson remains unbeaten this season and has the best chance to defend his title. His biggest rival, David Vector, is already 122 points behind. Bruno Bader is in 3rd place in the overall standings. Finally, the FIA Top Fuel Dragster. V8 engines with nitromethane turbocharging and an incredible 10,000 horsepower accelerate these 9-meter-long projectiles to almost 500 kilometers per hour in under 4 seconds. At takeoff, acceleration forces of over 5G act on the driver, and 100 kilometers is reached in 0.8 seconds. In the first semi-final, Sweden's Susanne Kallin needs a win against Ida Zetterström to gain points on the overall leader. Zetterström storms out to a great 3.96 seconds to claim the win and extend her lead in the championship. In the final, the driver from Åland, Finland, but driving under a Swedish license, has to race the number 1 qualifier, India Ehrbacher, who had a bye run in the semi-final. It's an extremely close final. Zetterström has the better reaction time, takes the lead, and storms to a great 3.92 seconds. Erbacher comes very close with 3.93 seconds, but the win is for the driver from Sweden. With the current number of entrants at the European finals at Centerpod, Zetterström is the 2023 FIA European Top Fuel Champion, but it's not official yet. It will be the first FIA European Top Fuel title for Zetterström in only her second season in the fastest and quickest class of the championship. That's it for today. On our next episode of FIA Pure Motorsport, we crown the next karting gearbox world champion. We'll show you the next stop of the Formula Regional European Championship, and we'll have the best autocross action from France. Till next time, take care, everybody, and ciao.